hao, hola, welcome to everybody, the Anatad Podcast. I'm going to start out by singing a little song and then I'm going to introduce everybody. And this song is called The Star Spangled Banner of India. Oh, say, can you see by the twilight of India? All right, maybe I'll stop now. Hello, everybody. If you are from India, happy Independence Day. Thank you very much for joining us. And if you are in other parts of the world, thank you very much for joining us. We see that we have quite a number of listeners from all over the globe, and that's a very good thing. So thank you so much for being here and joining us. My name is Nimmer, and I'm with you today in California where it is very, very hot. Been about 38, 39, 40 degrees Celsius, over 100 Fahrenheit. Very, very warm. It's supposed to be for the next week, and the whole state's burning, and we've got fires left and right. So let's hope that my power doesn't get cut off in the middle of this podcast as they were cutting off power last night. So I've got a few guests with me, and hello, Warren. Hello, Marco.
Thank you, guys. Nice to be back with you guys. And to those of you in India, we are being patriotic and saying Happy Independence Day to you guys. And
It's actually a late Independence Day now, I
oh, it's a
think.
late
So,
Independence.
yeah,
So excuse my Espanol on that. And I wish I could sing, you guys' national anthem, but no, I don't. So I'm gonna ask Marco to help us play a little, Indian anthem there sometime when he's editing this thing and putting it together for the general listeners.
Well,
So
there's no doubt that when I edit this podcast, Warren, there'll be a lovely taste of India in the background there as your. I'm not. Well, actually,
just
funnily-
don't remove my singing. I like my singing.
I was about to say, have we lost all our listeners due to that singing, Nimmer? Is it? Yeah, I don't know. That was interesting. I didn't realise the Indian independence song would go that way.
yeah,
But,
I was surprised
interesting.
too, but it's a beautiful thing.
And the other thing, Warren, is I've got to let you know, and hello to all our listeners, by the way. I should say hello to everyone. Espanol, is that part of India or?
I don't know.
When you said
something
excuse
like
my
that.
Espanol, so
Yeah,
I'm just
well,
wondering,
maybe
is that a new language?
No, I don't know. I should have learned maybe a word or two in Indian language, maybe in Hindi or something.
Well, I could teach you some, but that will be for another day.
Thank you.
Well, if you are watching us on Facebook Live on our new Anatad Podcast page, thanks to
It's
Marco.
working this week, Nimmer.
Or,
Happy
yes,
days.
it is. Seems to
Yeah.
be. Or if you are watching us live on YouTube, thank you very much. Seems that we've got a number of listeners at the moment. Let's see here. We've got 4 listeners, so thank you so much for joining us. If you're looking for visual appeal, excuse that. You're
Hello,
not gonna get
Dana.
visual
Dana
appeal
says
here.
hi.
Yes,
Hello,
Dana.
Hey, Dana.
Thank you very much for joining us. This is audio only, and if you see some weird picture in the background, then enjoy.
It's my
Nimmer,
head.
put your clothes back on, damn it.
Oh man, I got caught. Oh no, I guess
Oh,
I do
my
have a
Lord.
camera. Oh man.
I'm going to have to put that
Put
expletive
a towel
checkbox.
over the
No, the expletive
camera or
checkbox.
something.
On it goes. Check that box, baby, because Nimmer's in the nude. Before the news. I don't know what he's going to be like during the news, but before the news is in the nude.
And speaking of the nude news,
Ooh.
we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the news. And to start it off, I'm going to mention an app called Google Lookout. If you are not aware of what Google Lookout is, it is an app that is for iOS users comparable to possibly something like Seeing AI. It does currency recognition, scene recognition, text scanning, and OCR, and as well as food packaging and labels, and does actually a very nice job with food stuff, better than a lot of other apps I've tried. Anyway, they have come out with their new interface 2.0. Looks a little bit different than it used to. They've also made it more widely available if you have a phone with 2 gigabytes of RAM or more, and running, what is it, Android 7 or something?
Marshmallow, marshmallow.
Marshmallow, Android
Yeah.
5, whatever. Yeah, going way
Yeah.
back. If you've
Yeah.
got some phone like that, then you should be able to run. Although I have seen some people say they can't access it in their country. I would say, just wait, see what happens. Hopefully, it actually does roll out to your area. But let us know what you think of it, and yep, give it a try.
So for those listeners, as you said, Nima, similar to Seeing AI or Envision AI type app, it seems to do everything fairly well, I think. Would you agree, Warren? It's
I like it. I mean,
Yeah.
that thing works well for me, and the most especially, I mean, I could point it. I'm across the room, and man, it reads what I'm pointing at. So I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And like Nima said, the food, I love it when it tells me where the item is coming from. So I
Yeah.
know whether it's from Safeway or it's from, what's that silly one we got here? I don't know. It's not Winn Dixie. Something silly like that. Winco. There we go.
So we've got a Miriam Mosen says hi. Dana Mosen, what is this about? Stick around and find out. Austin says hello. And he also says, Warren, you could call me for Hindu lessons. Excellent.
Oh, thank
I'm
you,
wondering.
bro.
I'm wondering though, with the surname there, Mosen, if there's any relation to the infamous one.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think
Dana
Mosen's a common
Mosen,
name.
it's spelled differently.
Ah.
Dana Mosen also says, I'm confused. I don't know what you're confused about, if you can clarify, but look out. It's just a OCR app. And we've got Marco laughing in the background. There's probably some hyena in his house or something.
I'm confused because
No, a
you're
kangaroo.
confused. Yes.
Little Roo
Oh, look,
is running
Mr.
around.
Boppet. Hello, Mr. Boppet.
Oh, good on you, Stanley.
Welcome. Good on you.
Welcome
Thank you for
back,
joining us.
Bobetta.
We really
Welcome, my
weren't trying to
brother.
make fun of you when you were here last time. I do want to apologize on air. I just saw the name, and we were having a long night, so we just started laughing. But anyway, we're really glad that you're here again.
Welcome, Stan.
And
Go on you, Stan. You're a champ, mate. You're
yes,
a
thank you
champ.
very much.
Yes.
Dana, please, if you have any specific questions on Lookout, feel free to ask, or it's just OCR text character recognition app. So
The
all
only
right.
unfortunate thing, though, before we move on to the next item, we've looked at for anyone that's outside the United States, the currency recognition does only work for the US at this point. So-
Yes, and it is not available for iOS. Unfortunately, it is Android only. Sorry, Dana. It's an Android only app, but it is similar to the app Seeing AI
Seeing
or
AI,
Envision AI or any of those other ones on iOS. So this is just Google's take of this kind of an app.
At least Google finally, realized that we just need something exclusively for ourselves instead of
Yeah, well, you
always
guys have Seeing AI on the other side, and we don't have that. So
Very good.
Austin says OnePlus Nord is on its way. That's really good.
Hey, welcome that new baby.
Tabitha, she's this your girlfriend Warren. Hello, she's
Oh
here.
yeah, that's my baby. I shout out to you, my girl.
Oh, yeah.
And Dana
Yeah.
Mosen says hi again. Hello. All right.
I'm telling you, it's a relation. Anyway.
No, they're not related.
Good. Anyway,
All
let's
right.
keep moving on.
Google
All right.
wants to hear from users, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And
What do they want to hear from users about, Warren?
Well, so here it is. Google, because this last beta that came out this month, the 6th, I think that was the final beta. Now, before the final release of Android 11, Google wants to hear from you. What do you like? What you don't like? And so there's a lot of, not a lot, a few questions in there that you can choose what you want to see and what you don't like about it and things like that. So, frankly, if you are an Android 11 beta user or something, get in there. We're going to post that URL. Go say a little word of your choosing so we get a final great product.
And we've got drum roll. Maybe Marco should add a drum roll here. We've got the death
Ooh.
potentially, of another Google product. Yay! Thank you, Google.
Yay! Well, this
Now
Google
it
product is one.
brought a tear to my eyes.
Yes, this Google product is a product that I very much enjoy and have enjoyed using for a long time. But it is rumored that Google Duo will be taken into the arms of Google Meet.
Now, is anyone surprised? Yet another chat app from Google going away. Anyone surprised? Anyone? I'm not.
Well, no, not really.
Well,
And
I'm
sadly,
surprised though because Duo was probably, well, it's not gone yet, but I mean Duo is probably one of the greatest inventions
I
of
think Google
Google.
Duo is one of the best products that Google's actually had for the last, three,
Yeah.
4 years, however long it's been around now. At least 4 years. And rumors initially circulated that it was going to happen potentially next year or the year after. Well, having a look at Android Authority today, and we'll shout out to Android Authority, we might even tag them in this broadcast. It looks like it's going to be dead by the end of this year, potentially, or
Goodbye.
at least amalgamated into Google Meet. Now, I know,
You've got
Nima, you've got
tears
some
in my
strong
eyes.
opinions about this potentially. I'm going to go with my strong opinion because I can. Google Meet and Duo, two separate products. Google Meet is similar to Zoom, a meeting product. Google Duo is like your FaceTime,
Thank
a
you.
video chat product, or audio chat for that matter. Why amalgamate those two services that are distinctly different from each other into one app? I don't know. Why, Google? Why are you doing this to us? A product that works between both platforms beautifully. Just kill it off. Just be done with it. It's crap. Just get rid of it. That's my opinion.
Marco, I am there with you, bro. And frankly, if it would be merged into something, it should be merged with messages, not the Google Meet. I just don't understand the rationale because they are separate apps, like you've indicated. So it's like analogous to WhatsApp or Telegram. It's not like Zoom. So why are we merging this? Come on, man. Nimmer?
Well, it's just going to make, in my opinion, Google Meet become a convoluted mess, essentially. It's just going to have a bit of this, a bit of that, and, well, we'll see where it all goes. But at the moment, Duo, as everyone knows, it amalgamates well with the phone app. You can make phone calls. If you have an iOS user that's using Google Meet, you can easily click on the video button whilst you're in the phone on the Android side and it opens up. Everyone's got video. It just works. It works, and it works pretty well. So, pretty annoyed about that one.
I come off as a little bit mixed on this, in that I do think that Google has way too many chat apps, way too many video apps, and I'd like to see some of that stuff combined into one app. Unfortunately, though, this is one of those scenarios, as Google always does, kind of kills off a product without its replacement really being ready or available or anything else. As Marco says, Meet sort of is the conference product. Now, if they added some of the Duo features and the Duo audio quality and video quality,
Oh, sure.
and all the dialer features, I'm okay with one app. But unfortunately, that's just at this point. It could be the case later, not the case at the moment. Let's see.
No. And the problem, though, Nima, is that you've got Duo, which just works. It really works quite well. It combines well with the phone app for us Android users. It works cross-platform. It's just
And
why
from
wouldn't
the
you develop
computer
that
too,
product?
man.
Exactly. Why wouldn't you
Come on.
continue developing it? I just don't understand. But anyway, that's the way Google's decided to go. So I am sad. I will play some sad music throughout this segment.
Yes.
I think it's a terrible travesty that this is
I'm
happening.
there
but
with
anyway.
you, my man.
Let's see. We've got some opinions from commenters. Dana, let's look out on iOS. Are you a bot, Dana? Are you? I mean, are you human? Like, are you just a troll or what? I'm just
It's a
curious,
troll.
just because
Just ignore the comment.
I'm just trying to figure that out. But
Yeah.
What's
because
Dana
I think we've
saying?
addressed that. You have Envision. That's great. Let's see. Tabitha, size. Google. Yes, I agree. And Austin, in the news, Google stopped sending emails to YouTube subscribers of YouTube channels when the channel uploads a video or is going live. Yeah, I noticed that too. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Why would you? Yeah.
Not
Interesting.
sure.
Well,
Tabitha says
it's a good
right.
idea.
Okay. Dana also says which Google Pro. Okay, I'm gonna move on. But Dana says she likes Duo. It's better than Messenger. That's good. All
Oh, I
right.
agree. Anyone, and I've had many people tell me that the video quality of Duo is excellent. It's by far the
It's
best
even better than
out of all of
FaceTime,
them.
my friends
Oh,
tell me.
way better. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. The audio quality is excellent. The video quality is excellent. But let's kill the product. It's crap. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Work that out. Anyway, let's keep moving on.
Now, next in the news, does anybody want a $1,400 phone? Anybody? Especially one with a last year processor and a 2 year ago modem. And by the way, it has two screens. But do you want one?
Yeah. Yeah. Ship it in, baby. I want my flip phone.
I love it.
Especially
Love
when that flip phone Nimmer is made by Microsoft.
Soft.
Yeah, now this is going to be a great product.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
you
they've
know,
done really
frankly-
well with phones in the past. They've done really great.
No,
Windows
but,
8.1 phone, anybody?
I think the mistake Microsoft made from the get-go, they should have jumped into Android phones a long time ago, and frankly, we would have nice stuff coming from Microsoft.
I don't know about that. They're still wobbly, Warren. They're now doing Android, and now they're talking about next year maybe doing Windows 10X.
Oh,
Whatever
my
that is
gosh.
from mobile.
Why bring
I
that
don't-
chestnut back up? Why? Sometimes people, you just got to let these things die
Yeah.
and
Now
leave
look,
them
I
dead.
actually do like the form factor of a flip phone.
Oh, so do I.
But if I'm going to pay $1,500
That's a
plus
lot.
tax or whatever it is, I definitely want latest specs. I definitely want a great modem. I definitely want a lot more than what this phone delivers. Sorry, Microsoft, this is not for me.
No. No.
If we get it, we'll just get it for unboxing and then send it back. Nima, you want to do that?
I think you've just left Nimmer speechless. Sheesh. Nimmer, I don't think you want
I'm
to do
good,
that.
thank you.
Since I'm not too far from Seattle, I'm going to go to Redmond and say, hey, I want that phone.
Look, I actually have considered pretty strongly looking at the new Samsung Z Flip.
That does
I
look promising.
actually do like the idea of a flip phone. The price is still way too high, but at least
Yeah.
you're getting decent specs.
Oh, yeah.
At least you're getting a good build from a company that knows how to make hardware and a decent specs. So, I don't know.
Look, I like Microsoft to a point, but they just haven't proven themselves in the phone market. So if I was going to choose between a Samsung and a Microsoft phone, I'm the same with you, Nimmer.
Stan Bobbitt says he's sad about Duo and he thinks Lookout is great. Excellent. Let's see. Dana sends a message before and after we send a question. It takes time to type. That's okay. We're glad you're listening. And let's see. Next news article. Hello, subscription. Subscription, anybody? Does anybody want to pay lots of money? Because if you do, Apple has got something good in store for you.
Oh, really?
Yay.
Bundle,
What?
bundle.
Hello, bundle. Just because, you already pay your cable subscription that has to be bundled, otherwise they charge you more, and you got to pay, all these other your cell phone and whatever else you've bundled with that for entertainment. And now we're going to pay Apple, because it's not enough to pay for a $1,200 iPhone. Now we've got to pay just to read the news and pay to play your music and pay for all these. Yeah, it's excellent. Very, very good.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you can't tell at all, I'm being a little bit sarcastic here. The idea is that they're going to sell you a bundle with their services. They've got Apple TV and Apple Music and all these Apple News and all these things, and they're going to sell you a bundle, and they're going to save you money, supposedly, for the more services that you bundle. And frankly, I've never found most of Apple's apps to be any good, other maybe than Apple Music, although I'm still not really a fan of that.
Well, if you
So I
like
tend to
music at a low
find other
quality,
cheaper services or just free services, frankly, or news. You shouldn't have to pay to get the news. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I'm kind of with you there. I don't understand why would you have to pay to get the news?
yeah,
That
it's
doesn't
not something I
really.
would do. But whatever.
Uh.
If I was going to do that, I'd get a newspaper. Really, to be honest, I don't know.
So how
It's
much is
okay.
this subscription bundle? Do we know at all?
I
I
think it's
haven't.
about $45 or
Yeah, I think
$40,
so.
something
I
like
don't know
that
that
in
I've
that
seen
neighborhood.
concrete
Per
pricing yet,
month?
but yeah.
Yeah.
Per month?
Oh
Oh yeah.
yeah.
But I
Yeah,
think it
no,
changes
you can
depending
keep
on how
that.
many you bundle and all that. So I
Sheesh.
don't know.
Wow, that's an expensive paper.
Well, I think
What's it
so.
do?
Apple is
Jeez.
just really trying to get more out of its users, I guess. I mean, they're not,
Listen, guys, they are very good at doing these things,
they
and
just want
they
more money.
always win. They're really good. You know.
Well, I won't worry about that at this point, I suspect, unless I have an issue with my free publications. I may look at it in the future, but
Yeah, I am
seems
the
a lot of
same
money.
way. I'm good.
I don't know. And what does this also include? The infamous Apple, what's that channel that they've called it now? The one that they've got, the subscribe to, with the morning show that everyone seems to not like.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I'm not sure if it comes with that. You probably can add it.
Well,
You
that
know,
might
this
cost you
has
an
all
extra
the
few bob.
games in there too, though, like the Apple Arcade, all those games and stuff
Yeah,
like
but
that. So,
Google gave that to me
um,
for $2 or something, whatever it was, $3 or $5. Anyway,
But to balance the argument, though, Nema, let's also look at the similar experience, or somewhat similar, not entirely similar, but partly similar experience on the Play Store with their subscription, where you can get, I believe it's around about $8 Australian, what's that, about $5 US, to get
yes,
all
for
the
Play
apps and
Pass.
stuff,
Yep, you
and
get
the
a bunch
Play
of free
Pass
apps
stuff.
and some games as well. A lot of
Now,
games.
honestly, for me, I don't know. Maybe if you're a nuts into playing games, I guess it's a good value. I don't know.
yeah, but
It's only
you can have a
$5, but
1 year subscription for $30. Better than paying
yeah,
$5 a
better.
month.
But I mean, there's what are you going to download there? Yeah, there's apps and stuff, but I don't know.
You never know. Some apps are gonna come down into the program. So,
Well, I've gotten a lot of
Yeah.
apps from them. I haven't found any apps that I'm like, oh, I was dying to have this app.
no.
But I
Exactly.
have seen a good number of apps, and I actually downloaded. I probably have 500 apps on my phone, and a lot of
Yeah,
them
but
did
you're an
come
app
from Play
collector.
Pass. I am an app
That you're a
collector,
collector.
but I
Yeah,
would tell you that a lot of them probably aren't even accessible. So that's
exactly.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
good
Look,
for gamers. If you're a gamer, definitely
I think a
Yeah.
lot of
something to do.
these companies like Apple, Android, blah blah blah, etc. They all offer these subscription models, and look, it'll probably suit some people. Other people, like myself, not so much. But each to their own.
Dana says, I don't understand the people that buy the ringtones off of iTunes. Yeah, I'm not so sure I understand that either, but hey, that's okay.
Yeah.
If you get an Android phone, you can just pop things on your phone without using iTunes. Just
Thank you.
as an incentive to come over
Hey,
to
I
the
like
dark side.
iTunes. Not.
I have never heard of anyone saying they like iTunes, except I just heard Marco say it.
Hey, I
Although
put the not
there was a
afterwards.
not. Yeah, but I
Thank
don't
you
know
very
what
much.
that means in
Yes.
Australia. That might mean I love it.
Oh, look, he's fired up today. See, this is what happens, listeners, when we change to a Saturday night over there in the US.
That's
I'll
a
tell
lot
ya.
better than a Friday, I can
Oh,
tell you that.
he's a happy
Yeah.
nimmer today.
Yes, yeah. Although my boom arm is in need of help, so that's
Oh,
not it.
yeah.
Well, we'll
Let's
move
not
on
go
from
there.
that.
Don't talk about the war, Nimmer. Don't
Uh,
talk about the war. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yes.
Gboard has some interesting accessibility
Oh, yes.
enhancements and potential bugs in the latest beta. So if you've got the latest beta of Gboard, you can now, when you explore by touch and lift up, of course the letter is typed, except the symbols key, the enter key, the voice input key. Thanks a lot, iOS users. I really wanted this improvement not. I appreciate you guys for giving this to me first. And Google, I appreciate you for following the leader. In this case, I didn't want you to follow along, but hey, that's what it is. On
My
the good
tech,
news, though, we do have an enhancement, and that is if you're using Gboard, it used to be, some people will find this an annoyance, some people will find it an enhancement, and it is actually working as intended. when you're in Gboard and you've touched a letter, what you can, if you swipe to the right, it used to be that it would actually take you out of the edit box, possibly the send button or wherever it would take you. Now, if you swipe to the right or to the left, it will take you to the next letter or the previous letter on the keyboard.
Slide to type.
Not slide to type. It would be very nice if it was slide to type. It's more like swipe, and swiping actually does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
Swipe and double tap.
It's a very slow way of typing.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of users were, looking to get that, something similar to that. So it would be great if we did get slide to type. Unfortunately,
I don't think that's going to happen.
We'll be waiting for a while for that, I think.
Yeah.
I think my take on it is that, frankly, and I love it. At first, I was kind of like pissed off, and it really, but then, excuse me, talking about it, and with friends and Nimmer and some of other guys, yeah, I kind of like it. Most especially not for me, but like someone that probably, maybe is coming from the Fruitvale land and likes that type of thing. Swipe to a key and tap on it. But here's what I would like to see. I would like them to even improve it better. So, for instance, let's say I'm on the road that has ASDF, and let's say I want to type the word and, A-N-D, and I've lifted my finger on the letter A and it's typed in A. I want to be able, if they could make it to where I could swipe down once and it takes me to the bottom row, so I could just quickly go find end. I think that would be perfect.
Well, see, I'd like a swipe down that will automatically put in the suggested word or something. I don't know.
Word. That would be better.
Yeah, no, I understand, but you see what I'm talking about, because
well,
if you're only swiping, it's going to take you a long time.
But the good thing about Gboard, though, is it's quite good at predicting. So if it could it's actually probably one of the best at predicting what the word's going to be. So if I could just swipe down, like you said, Nimmer, and just, bang, ND goes in space. That'd be fantastic. That'd save a lot of stuffing around.
So I just
there you go, Google. There's an idea.
It's one of those things that we tend to get. It's kind of a halfway baked, fixed, sort of broken, sort of whatever your opinion on it is.
I can't say that I'm going to be using it. It's not me. It's not something I'll be using.
And I think that what they need to do, though, is probably maybe put in a toggle in there so that if you want to just do a double tap, they should implement a full, double tap on the keys in that way. Because, for instance, if I'm just starting with the keyboard, and if I lift my finger, it's going to type. So it's just not quite the same experience that you will have on Fruitvale, because if that's not the letter I wanted, I can't swipe to the next one because it will just automatically input that. So I think they need to just have where people could choose to double tap the keyboard and then, or not to double tap the keyboard. I think that will be the win-win situation.
Let's see. We have 10 users last I looked, and a few of them are agreeing with your statement there, Warren. Miriam says, I don't like this way. Typing seems like Google is doing a lot of weird stuff these days. Yeah, well, that happens.
But Miriam, just keep in mind, before you go on to the next comment, Nimmer, Miriam, keep in mind that there are other choices.
Yes,
and that's
there
one
are
of the
a lot
good
of
things.
keyboards. Yep.
If Gboard ends up going the way that they're going and it's not to your satisfaction, there's plenty out there to pick from, and that's what people need to remember. It's not just Gboard. There's a lot out there. So,
and a lot of it is just accepting change. Whether it ends up being a positive thing in the long run, it's hard to know. I know that when I am used to one way of doing things, when that thing changes, it's always tough to figure out, was this actually a good thing or not? We'll see.
I mean, you take the analogy of something even like, which I'm sure a lot of users have, Facebook, for example. They change their layout every, 3 or 6 months, and people complain, and then they get used to it, and then 3 or 6 months later they complain. So it's just one of those things that happens. You got to keep people employed.
So. Reva Webb says it's annoying. Another reason I don't use Gboard. Hello, Reva. Dana says I never understood.
Girl, where you been?
Dana says, I never understood slide to type. Yeah, maybe that's something we can do a demo of, although it's really more an iOS sort of feature. But
it'd be interesting for a lot of people to get it, because a lot of Android users have never experienced it. It's actually quite it is definitely a cool feature, I have to say.
Okay, let's see. What do we have next? We have Signal. Want to talk about Signal, Marco?
He's sending smoke signals.
Apparently, he's dropped
Marco,
off. I don't know.
he's sending smoke signals right now. You know, I think that's what Marco's doing. He's playing games with us.
Well, we've got an article here. Signal is adding message requests to learn more about who is contacting you.
And then they added a video calling.
And they've also added video calling. So
Yeah.
Signal has had some enhancements. Let's see. We've also got Google is rolling out Meet, Chat, and Rooms. So some to the Gmail app for G Suite customers. They have rolled out Meet to consumers as well, but some of these other tools are going out to G Suite customers. So if you do use G Suite, be looking out for that change of way of doing things in the Gmail. All right. Let's see. Do we have any comments before we go on to
A little surprise.
a little
We'll
surprise?
break the monotony with a little surprise.
No, we don't have any comments, but if you are listening, thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate you being here. It looks like we've gone down to 7, and since Marco left, I think people just got bored.
All right. Well, let me do a little surprise here, Nimmer.
Sounds good.
Hear that rustling?
We got Marco back. Hello, Marco.
Hello, have you got me back in?
Yeah, we
Yes,
got
sir.
you in, and
Excellent.
I'm rustling
I
something.
hear rustling.
Sounds like a bag of chips to me.
Oh. Sounds
It's
like an
Marco's.
expensive bag
Listen,
of chips, that one.
It's Marco's plastic.
Excuse me, but I didn't know we were going to do a bag of chips.
Well,
Why are
it's
we
a
doing this?
surprise. I wanted to do this. So excuse my Espanol.
Oh,
All right.
I'll excuse your English too. Whilst I'm at it.
Listen to that. Okay. So
Miriam, hold on one second here. We've got a question. What is G Suite? It is Google's suite of apps for
Well, we should probably
administrators.
expand on that. Yeah. It's Google's suite of apps.
Yeah, so basically, so for free users, you have some of their free tools, Gmail, Google Drive, all these things, and they're part of G Suite. But the G Suite, when I'm talking about G Suite, is sort of the one that businesses have access to, and enterprise and education. You have a lot more settings, a lot more configurability. You can actually sign up for a G Suite, I believe, for $6 a month or something like that for their cheapest plan. Although if you want more options, you have to get a higher plan. So that is what G Suite is. It's sort of Google's suite of tools, but in this case, we were talking about it was for enterprise / business users. So
And just to quickly touch on the Signal stuff, because I did cut out before we quickly go to this unboxing of the
you were
chips
sending us smoke
section.
signals. Yes.
Yeah. So Signal's basically allowing, which for those that don't know Signal, it's a chat app, very similar to WhatsApp or Telegram, or probably the most secure one out there. Actually, sadly,
its
it's not
focus
really
is on
used.
security. Yeah, and you can set it as your default SMS app. By the
Yeah,
way.
you can indeed. Yep, and they're just basically allowing now message requests, so they give you more information as to who's contacting you, so that you can, either accept or decline. But I believe they're breaking it down into a lot more detail, which is good for a secure app. It's just sad that not more people use it, but it is one of the better
I doubt
ones
I'll
out
get
there.
a message request anytime soon, but we'll see.
No, well,
And then, the video calling too. We touched on that. They've added
they've added the video calling.
the
now.
video calling. So hey,
Anyway,
we've
let's
got
go
a
back
competitor
to-
to Duo.
Yeah, we have indeed. Well, yeah, but the problem is that it's just not that used. That's the problem.
Dana, you should change to Android. Says I'm an iOS user. Thought of changing to Android. Excellent.
Oh, yeah. Come on, girl. Welcome to the land.
Warren's just gotten very excited.
Do we
here,
know it's a
Nima.
girl or?
I don't know.
All right.
Hey, Tash isn't going to be very happy with you if you continue that line of questioning, my man. Yeesh, ay, ay, ay.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
It's
All
okay.
right.
I'll leave that domain to you. Anyway, the packet
that's
of
my girl.
chips.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh God, back of chips.
Cheetos or Ruffles or what kind
I
of
actually
chips?
thought they were
No,
cheeses.
no, these
Yeah, could be.
Doritos.
Doritos. All right.
Well, you said plastic.
Okay, so I went out and got this thing to try it out. The Orbit mobile rider. You know, we talked about it on Anatad a little while ago. I think that was that back in May or somewhere there, maybe even April. That they
I
were
think it was
bringing this
April,
in.
actually. It was a
Yeah,
while back
thank
now.
you. I
What?
don't
This
have much-
isn't the Pixel 3? 4, I mean?
No, I can't wait for that baby to be here.
I was getting all excited. I'm going to go and make a coffee now.
I know,
Yeah,
doggone
This
it.
is disappointing me now.
Doggone it.
Why did we unbox this? All right.
Just because
Go
this
ahead.
is Anatad, anything goes, right? So the mobile rider is a $99 gadget. The whole idea is just for braille input, you know, for your mobile device. And
God, for that, I'd rather get a mechanical keyboard.
frankly, no, now listen to my take on it first, Nimmer. Okay, so this thing is just this length. It's maybe like an inch taller than my Pixel 4. And the width is just about the same, or maybe a little bit smaller, narrower than the Pixel 4. Now, that's where the similarities end. Then
Well,
the
yes.
description of the device is that you got facing you, facing you, you have the space bar and then the dots 7 and 8, dot 7 on the left side of the space bar and dot 8 on the right side of the space bar, and that's the one that's facing toward your chest. And your dots 1, 2, 3, it's on the top left, and 4, 5, 6 on the other, and then you have a joystick in the middle between the space and the dots. And
I
so
like
you got,
joysticks.
yeah, it's a joystick, man. Joy to the world. And so, and then on the left side, on the side, you have the charging port is using a micro USB charging port. And then in front, the long side that facing you in the front, you have like a place there for like a lanyard. And shame on them, they didn't even include the lanyard. You could, sort
A
of put it
lanyard? Is that like a front yard or a backyard? Or
like a lanyard, it's something you put on your neck, whatever. I don't know.
okay.
Well, I suppose for $99, you're struggling to get a lanyard in there.
Okay. Yeah, I know. They want to charge you $3.50 for that lanyard or something like that. I don't remember. Now, how to turn it on? Because frankly, I'm not going to spend time on this thing. You hold down the and guess what? There's no instruction in Braille or anything like that. So I had to
fancy
pull.
Well, that would cost more, so they'd have to up the price.
Fancy that, eh?
Yeah, so I had to pull out Lookout and had it read it to me. Anyway,
Oh, wow. You're convincing me to go out and get this.
I'll tell you, this is sounding very similar to the plastic watch segment we had several weeks ago.
come
I'm
on,
just-
bro. Come on, bro.
Oh, boy.
I'm just saying.
Okay, but okay. So you hold down the up and down, arrows to turn it on. I wonder if it vibrates. Let me try that. I don't know if you heard that.
Wow, that sounds like a terrible vibration.
That's working.
Come
Wow.
on, guys. So knock it down.
Okay, I won't poop. I won't poo-poo it.
Okay, and then to pair it, when you do that, now here's the problem. To pair it with your
Pairing
device.
it?
Yeah, say you want to pair it with your Bluetooth, you could use USB or Bluetooth. You could pair it to two devices and maybe one USB and one Bluetooth. Now, it requires that you have Braille back working. And so with that, then to pair it, to put it in a Bluetooth mode, you hold the space bar, the left arrow, and and I believe .1, and that will make it show up in the in your devices to pair it
So
with.
can
And
I
once
read with this thing, or what is it for?
no,
What does it do?
no. This is where I'm going. So
Good.
that's all that there is to it. The whole idea, and frankly, for $100, I wish this thing were rather $50 or maybe $40 or something like that.
Yeah, but I still don't know what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
What
the
is this
whole
thing?
idea is to be able to type, do braille input on your mobile. You know what I mean? The whole idea is to help you say you want to type, and just use this to type. So, but
So why
if
can't
you
you
know,
do braille input using the screen braille input on with TalkBack? I mean, why
yeah,
do you
so
need a separate
that's
device to hold in your hand?
that's what I'm trying to say, frankly, and it's a very cheap plastic, very light, and
You have a habit of getting cheap plastic things.
I do. I love plastic.
For somebody who doesn't like plastic things, you keep getting plastic things.
I didn't know, bro. I got it. I wanted to save you from, disaster. I don't want you to get this thing
It's
now.
the
frankly,
plastic
I can
fantastic
promise
here.
you, as much of a braille fan as I am, I
Yeah.
promise you, I never would have gotten this thing.
No, you don't. And I'm not putting these people down, Orbit Research down or anything. But frankly, I don't know. It's not worth $100.
But come on, man.
I've
like,
actually
let's,
seen
let's
a lot
get
of
serious.
reviews. I've
Let's
seen a
get
number
serious.
Well, I've seen
Sorry,
a number of
Noah.
reviews on this thing about cheap build or not being able to connect or some issues with connections or waiting on a firmware update. I've seen quite a number
Yeah.
of issues
So I
on
was
the
able
net
to
with this
connect.
kind of thing. So
Yeah, but let's get serious, guys. I mean, if you're paying $100 for something like this, come on, it's not going to be, it's
No,
not going to be
I understand. That is
fantastic.
true. Yeah, no, it's not going to be fantastic.
well, I would expect it to be
it
fantastic
should- it
because
should-
if I think about how much it costs to make a Bluetooth keyboard, this thing has only 8 keys or 9 keys or something.
Yeah,
How
but
many
remember,
keys
your
does a Bluetooth
expectations of
keyboard have?
these, your
Bluetooth-
expectations of these
Bluetooth
devices
has a
being cheap
bunch of
is not
keys.
going to be realistic. But,
Well,
you know,
apparently not. But how many keys does a Bluetooth keyboard have? You know,
Oh,
the
a lot.
smallest one has 50 keys or something.
There are
Yeah.
probably more.
I don't know. At least 26 for all the letters, plus another 10 for the numbers.
so
and a
what
few
I want to
more for
know, Warren, is are you going to keep this product or is it going back
It's going to
to
go under
Mama?
his bed probably. And
Listen to them boys. I don't know. Maybe this thing could go back to Mama. I don't know. But frankly, my whole idea is that do yourself a favor if you want
Don't buy
something
it.
like this. Unless you really don't know how to type on a regular keyboard, say like a Bluetooth keyboard that can fold and be carried around in your pocket. And if you're definitely someone who feels more at home using a Braille keyboard, then buy it. But other than that,
yeah, but
I
then
don't-
why
I
wouldn't
don't
you
see the
use
point.
Braille screen input?
yeah, well, it's some people maybe they don't know how to. So this may be
So
some
what's
And the
waste
other
$100
thing also
instead of using
is the other thing also is does this only work with Brailleback?
No. I mean, it works with Fruitvale too. You know.
Yeah, but in terms of the Android side of it, it only works with Brailleback.
Yeah, it needs Braille. Braille
So on
back
the
to drive
insect,
it.
it needs Braille back, or the ladybug, it needs Braille back, and on the fruit veil, it needs whatever
need
voiceover.
Yeah, I think that's
And,
it needs voiceover. Yeah.
and,
Does
but
Brailleback
but
actually
yes.
still exist?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
what are you talking about?
maybe.
Of course.
Kind of.
I use Brailleback. Stop that.
Yeah, we'll get Brad in here. He'll tell us all about it. Let's see. Yes, it does work. It should work with your computer, although
Yeah,
Yes.
using USB.
Well, it should,
you know,
yeah.
but it
you
certainly
can-
should. I would
Yeah,
hope it does for 100.
It does work with your computer as well. So you can pair two devices at the same time. But like I said, unless you
wow.
really depend on Braille, it may be you don't know how to type or you don't know how to use the Braille keyboard that comes with TalkBack, then you could get this, but you might as well take your girlfriend out for
I
a
think
couple
I
dinners.
think we should test out its sturdiness, Warren. Maybe just see how sturdy this thing is.
Oh, you
Yeah,
want
we
me-
should.
you want me
You
to
know,
do a
Jerry Rig.
I
Jerry Rig
would-
does some testing, so we
Yeah.
should bend it and try to.
Bend it and see if
You
it
want me to
survives.
do a? You want me to do? Well, I'm not as rich as Jerry Rick. You know.
Well, you
'cause I
obviously
need-
are because you just spent
Well, it's
$100 on a keyboard.
no,
I'll
stop
tell you.
it.
And it's
It
going to
must
cost
be-
you more to return it than it is
Yeah.
to.
Frankly,
to break
this thing
it.
is as useless as. I mean, oh my gosh, I've seen cheap, but not this cheap, man. I mean, cheap
I've seen
plastic.
cheap, but
Come on.
this
Hey, I've heard
my.
cheap. Don't you worry about that. You reckon you've seen cheap? I've heard cheap.
Riva writes in here, says at least it's not the 5 bends of the Orbit reader. Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Yeah,
Although
that's right.
I think that thing is what 6 bends. Yeah, but at least you can read with that thing.
Yeah, but
I
at
don't
least
know,
you
I
can
still
read.
don't know
You can see Braille on that one. So that's the
Yeah, at
only
least you can
difference.
read
Yeah.
with it. I mean, I understand. I think Braille is very important, but
So
in
do
this
I.
case, you have a Braille device just to write Braille, even though
Yeah.
both iOS and Android let you do Braille screen input. So I just, and you're carrying around a second device that's
Yeah.
bigger than your phone.
Yeah, it depends
I
on the
don't- I
phone
don't
though.
know.
If you have a 6-inch phone, then this is going to be a little
Well,
shorter than your 6-inch phone.
Well, even if it's a little shorter, it's still about as big as my. And it's probably
Look,
thicker.
boys, I've got to ask the question. I'm sorry, but I've got to put this out here, and this is primarily to Warren. What enticed you to buy this product? Like, what was the deciding factor that said, I'm buying this thing? Come on, tell me.
A couple of things, because I know people were talking about it on Anatad, and frankly, people were, is it good? Should we get it? And so I want to save people, don't waste your moolah on it. Unless,
I'll tell you what, if I went on everything that went on that Anatad
So I'm going to send this baby
Anatad
back.
group, if I went on to buy everything that was talked about on that Anatad group, I'd be a poor man, I'm telling you.
No. But this
Wow.
is Braille. We're talking Braille here. We've
Yeah, I know, I
never
love
heard of
Braille,
a Braille
but-
device for $100. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, but
It's
it's not
very
even
tempting.
Braille. It's just
But it's
input.
not
It's not
Braille.
even Braille at all.
Yeah,
It's
but
just a keyboard.
When you read it, though, it makes you think that it has Braille input. I mean, it
Maybe
makes you
read a
think
bit
that
more.
it shows Braille on there. It does not.
okay.
So
No,
they
it
need
does
to
not.
clarify things. So, we
Well, I
don't
would
want
have
people
just rung
running
them
Well,
up
out
its
and
there.
name-
said,
its
listen,
name is
does it do
Braille
a
Writing,
Braille?
so I
Does
don't
it do Braille on the thing? And they would have said no, and I would have said, well, keep it then. I'm sorry, but that's what I would have done. But if you want to buy it, that's cool.
So, no,
That's what
so
an
guys,
unboxing's all about.
I'm
Well,
sending this
Austin
baby
here
back to Mama.
says it's going back to the same place the plastic watch went. I tend to think that if Scott, if you're listening, maybe you can let Warren borrow that same gun that you shot your Galaxy phone with.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
you can
that's
take it
right.
outside.
Thank you.
Jeez, how the hell can you shoot a
Yeah,
Galaxy
but
watch with a gun?
I don't
That's
want I don't want to shoot I don't want to shoot this thing. I send it back to Mama, man. Come on, bro.
Nope, Dana, it does not have Braille output at all. It's just complete. It's just a keyboard.
No,
It's just
no,
it's not
keyboard.
even a good keyboard at that.
No.
It's just a keyboard.
I still think
Yeah.
we should do the bendy test, but anyway, that's
No,
just
no,
me.
I want to send it back. I don't want to send it broken. Come on, bro.
Yeah. Come on, just tell them how good the
Yep,
product
it'll
is. It didn't
scratch at a
stand
level
up.
3. That's what Riva says.
Can we hear you
Yeah.
putting that back in its box again? That's sounding quite cool, actually.
Yeah, I'm
I
going
can
to
hear that.
send that baby back to Mama.
Yep, there it goes.
Send that baby back to Mama.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Now,
my
we're going
God.
to talk a
So
little
that's
bit
it.
about iPhone Android comparison. Now, we're going to move on with that, but before we do that, I'm going to talk very briefly about an app that's going to tie in very well with what we're going to talk about. And this is my favorite named app, I think. It just sounds really cool. It's called Frinky.
Oh, hello.
El Frico.
Jeez. Hey, are you sure that's what it is?
KY, Frinky.
Wow.
I love it, man. Beautiful.
So for the longest time, I've been looking for an app that will allow me to approximate the same feature that I have on my Motorola Edge, and that is when my phone is playing music, I want to use the volume buttons to control the music. Because when my phone's in my pocket or I'm just holding it or whatever, I don't want to have to turn it down, listen to talkback, find the next button. Now, if you have a Pixel 4, you can obviously use the gestures, the hand gestures, and that works pretty well. But other than that, there's not really a good solution. So I installed tons of these apps that claim to do this. And I have a lot of different phones here. And they all, one of them didn't work with one phone and one didn't work with another phone. And anyway, this Frinky app works with all the phones that I have. And it is completely free unless you want to donate $1 to the developer and unlock a couple of extra features that frankly don't even work very well. So I tend to say stick to the free version. The extra features that you unlock would be to use the volume button when your phone is unlocked. Now, if your phone's unlocked, you can probably just find the next button. And it doesn't work completely reliably And I tend to think maybe TalkBack is interfering with it and accessibility volume or something. I'm not sure. But if your phone is locked, it certainly does work. And the way it works is you hit the volume up button once, it'll skip tracks. You hit the volume button down button, it goes previous track, and you can change this in the app. You double tap or more than double tap on the volume button, and it will change your volume. And if you do certain gestures with the volume button, like you can do an up, up, down, down, or a volume up, volume down, it will do different things that you can set up what they do. So, for example, I did a volume up, volume down will stop my music. So, it's kind of a cool way to stop music for anybody who's been waiting for that two-finger double tap, magic tap that's coming in Android 11. It's also a cool way to skip tracks in a very convenient way. And the reason I'm bringing this up is we're going to talk a little bit about the way that music apps, streaming apps, and that kind of thing work on iPhone and Android. But before we do that, I kind of think it'd be valuable just to talk a little bit about settings, notifications, and how some of that is laid out on the different platforms, and even just to try to demonstrate some of that a little bit, although I don't know that I have a lot of notifications on my iPhone, but we'll find out. Okay, so I'm going to open up my settings app first. This is actually a really horrible speaker on this iPhone. It actually is loud enough, but it's clear enough, but it's not very loud. So if you have a hard time hearing it, I apologize. I'll try to hold it up to the microphone.
Phone, page 2 of settings.
Actually, Nima, it sounds good.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the settings here. Here we go. Now, if I look through the settings, whoa, what is it doing? Oh, hello. Oh,
That's
man,
the sound that drives me nuts.
This is working very well. It seems to have completely frozen. Okay, let's try to go back into settings again. I think I know what I'm doing. I mean,
You'll get it.
Page dock, phone,
no, it keeps crashing. I
Page
don't know
dock.
Come on.
settings,
Page dock.
search.
Okay, finally we're in the settings. All right. Wow. I don't know what was going on with that.
Well, that was interesting. Gee.
Yeah. Okay, so at the top we have a search box and a dictate button. Then I have my iCloud settings at the very top.
Airplane mode, off.
And then we have a bunch of different settings. And when I mean a bunch, I mean a bunch. And they're all kind of laid out in a really not good way. I have airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular, notifications, no categorization at all. Now, I know I could use search, but I'm just
Yeah.
talking about how things are laid out.
Sounds and do
Uh,
not screen-
So I'm going to go through all these, and then let's see what we have at the bottom.
iTunes, one, pass, mail, contact, calendar, no, remind, voice, phone, messages.
Oh my goodness.
FaceTime,
Okay, here we go. So now I've reached the bottom of the settings, and I've got all my apps.
Maps, compass, measure, Safari, news, stock, health,
And
shortcuts.
all their settings are in here as well. This is a really long, confusing, cumbersome settings list. Not only do you have settings here for each app, but you have different settings within each app, and you never quite know if you're trying to find a setting on your phone for an app. Do I have to go to my settings app, or do I have to go to the app itself and then go to settings within that app? Or you never quite know these things. Settings is a horrendous mess. And Apple, if you can hear me, God, please change this.
I
This is a
agree.
horrendous, horrible, awful, terrible mess. And I'm not saying that because I'm an Android fan. I actually am trying to be as impartial as I can. Settings is a god-awful mess.
Apple
It-
does things right, but I wonder who messed this thing up like this.
It's been
just
bad. It's
unbelievable.
been the same. It's never changed. It's
No,
always
it's
been
never
this
changed.
way.
Yeah, it's been this way.
Now,
Yeah, I was
Marco
gonna
will
say
show
it
you
is,
what settings
yeah.
feels like and looks like on Android, or Warren, I don't care. One of you pull
Well,
up
I've
your
got the
Android
settings
phone.
app open here, so
Yeah.
we'll go through the Android, and this might differ slightly on each phone, but this is on a Samsung
Here you
S10
go.
Plus.
There you go. You've got a Samsung, and then I'll pull up a Pixel and we'll compare.
Yeah, they're similar though.
Okay, well, they're basically the same, so.
Samsung account profile button. Connections, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, flight mode, data usage. Sounds and vibration, sound mode, ringtone, volume. Notifications, app notifications, status bar, do not display brightness, blue light filter. Wallpaper, home screen, wallpaper, lock screen, wallpaper.
So you can see that all the settings are broken into categories, or broken up into categories. So they're not all over the place, which is kind of cool. They're not like, you literally, I think I counted there, Nima, there's probably 50 settings within that layout that you had there, or
Oh yeah.
a lot.
Easily.
Oh, there's a
A
lot.
lot.
And I didn't
A
even go
lot.
to the bottom.
So obviously within each of those, let's go to,
Connections, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, flight mode,
yeah,
data
that'll
usage.
do, connections,
And
Wi-Fi.
it says
So-
connections, and then it tells you what's in that category.
Yeah.
So
we'll
it
open
not
that
only
up.
says connections, but now you know if I want to turn on my Wi-Fi, I have to go in here.
Navigate up button.
Oh, my
Connections.
Bluetooth.
Search settings button. Wi-Fi blind bastard sync 5G. Wi-Fi on.
Oh, that's a good
Wi-Fi
name.
Wi-Fi on. Wi-Fi calling.
So Wi-Fi calling,
Wi-Fi calling on.
Wi-Fi calling on,
Bluetooth on.
Bluetooth on.
Bluetooth on. NFC and payment on.
So it tells you that you're clearly in the connections area, which has got connectivity and all sorts of bits and pieces, Wi-Fi calling and whatever else you can find in there. And that's what I love. And again, I'm very impartial. I will say it how it is. If I like something from one platform or the other more so, I will definitely say so. But in terms of the settings side of things, definitely a win there for Android by a long way. Absolutely.
And not only that, but actually the settings for each app are found within that app. So you don't go digging around through settings to find settings for a specific app.
Correct.
So
Whichever
you
app
only
that you're
have,
using, you use their settings and you set it through
Yeah.
the app.
So
Yeah.
you only have probably 10 items there in that settings list, 10, 12 items in that
12
settings
items,
list.
something like that.
And within those, of course, you have more. You have quite a bit of configurability. In my iOS device, I have to go through a ton of options just to find one thing, and it's confusing.
Yeah, there is
And
a
the
lot of settings.
notifications area on iOS is actually very similar in that it's a complete awful mess in
No,
the control
notification
center
is a
too, and
mess.
the notification center.
FaceTime.
So here we go.
FaceTime.
What I'm going to pull up the notifications, and what I'm going to do is touch the status bar, and then I'm going to flick down with 3 fingers. And we hope,
Notifications.
or maybe it's 2 fingers. I don't know. Anyway, I've got it pulled up.
Notification center. Heading clear. Telegram.
So I've got Telegram,
TV.
a
170.
TV notification,
Screen time.
screen time notification,
20. Telegram.
another Telegram.
TV.
They're all, oh my God, I get so overwhelmed looking at them. How do you ever find anything in that list? They're terrible. So on the Android notifications side, all the notifications for an app are grouped within that app.
And I'll run the listeners through that quickly. So we've got the notifications up.
Smart Pro Marlboro. System UI do not disturb turned on until I turn it off. Smart Pro Marlboro is running tab for more information or to stop the app. Notification settings button. Clear button unavailable. Belong.
Oh no, I've got do not disturb turn on. Maybe you can run us through it, Warren. As soon as I turn do not disturb on, I'm not sure if it's the same for
Yeah,
you, but on the
that's going to take
Samsung
away your
devices it kills.
notifications away.
Yeah,
Oh, just turn Do Not Disturb off.
I'll
It'll
turn
be
it
fine.
off. Hold on.
Okay. Or else, I mean, I have mine
he's
here.
got it.
Turn do not disturb off.
Google Assistant menu. Turn do not disturb off. Space.
Okay, so we'll go back in there again.
Notification shade. Telegram the dark side 1358 image over high turn it on turn do not disturb off. WhatsApp 41 messages from 4 chats 1246 6 more notifications inside. Talk crap red star microphone voice message 04 expand button. Telegram the dark side 1358 image over high turn it on turn do not disturb off high expand button. Reply button. Facebook 4 more notifications inside. Facebook Anatad
So you can see there Facebook format notifications, instead of it being split into like various different notifications, one here, one there, all your apps are going to have, well, you know, Telegram's got 15 notifications, WhatsApp's got whatever number of notifications and how many chats. So it
And you
splits
can
them all into
expand-
categories.
Expand each one of
And you can
those,
expand
and
them,
you know, yeah.
You can also and you can also clear each individual one within that list.
Yeah.
You can or you can just dismiss the whole bundle of notifications for that app. So let's say I want to clear all the ones having to do with Facebook. I could clear all the ones having to do with Facebook. I don't have a Facebook, but if I did, I promise I would do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of streaming apps, now this is a little bit of a difficult one because we don't all have the same apps to compare. I think probably the one I could compare possibly would be YouTube Music.
Yeah.
But what I have found to be true on both iOS and Android is that they're both very similar.
Indeed.
However, an iOS app is laid out is pretty much what the Android app is going to look like. Sometimes there's a few variations in where the navigation bar is at the bottom on one platform and at the top on another one or something like that. For the most part, though, with the streaming apps I've found, and I've tried out a good number of them, I used to have more, and I found that they're both very similar, and they're pretty accessible on both platforms. One platform might be slightly more ahead of the other in a particular app, but for the most part, they're all very accessible. Netflix.
Well, I've played around with Netflix on both platforms. The one on Android is probably slightly more clunky in the actual player. It can be a little
Yeah.
bit difficult, but it's usable. It's still okay. But another one, for example, Amazon is probably better on Android.
Yeah.
Stan here in Australia, it's good on both platforms. So it's like you said, Nima. One might be better on one, might be slightly better on the other, but universally, it's pretty much the same. You're going to have the
Yeah,
same
and
sort
we've
of
got like
experience.
YouTube Music is pretty much the same on both platforms. YouTube itself looks very much the same on both platforms. In fact, I can demo YouTube personally here. Let's see.
FaceTime.
Open YouTube. Let's hope I'm signed in on this
Pick
device.
topics you like. We'll cast
There you go.
music. Grand theft, vine, beauty, drawing.
Grand Theft.
Baseball, common, Latin
I don't know why I'm having to pick a category I like.
Continue. Dimmed button. Continue. No
You
thanks.
just pick
No
anything.
thanks.
No thanks. Yeah.
Cast button.
Okay, here we go.
Cast video button.
So here I'm on iOS, cast, video.
Search.
There's a search button at the top right.
Your account button. Add.
My account.
Shot on top 10 things that keep reacting to TikTok. Featured.
And then I've got a bunch of
Learn more.
different
Button.
videos that I might want to watch.
Minecraft speedrun of customizing my shoes 13 minutes. Add.
I don't know what that is.
Select.
That'll be
Customizing your
fascinating.
shoes, huh?
5.
Come
I'm
on,
not
Nima.
really sure how to play those videos, but all right. Now, at
You
the
could
bottom-
be running a marathon or something.
What I was
You
actually
customize
wondering,
them
Nimmer,
too.
is that what you decide which shoe you're going to put on your left foot and which one you're going to put on your right? Is that how that works? Or,
could be.
Yeah.
Now at the
interesting.
bottom, we've got home,
Explore. Tab.
Explore,
Subscriptions.
subscriptions,
Tab. Notifications. Tab.
notifications,
Library. Tab.
and library.
Tab. Add. Minecraft. Customizing my shoes 13.
Let's
Oh
watch
yeah.
customizing my
oh
shoes.
yeah, baby.
I'm going to pause it because I don't want to get in trouble with copyright.
Add info. 1. Video.
I think that was an ad.
Yeah, probably an ad.
Add info. Add middle dot. Customize. Expand
Yeah,
description.
it says
Like this
add
video.
info.
Links.
Okay.
Cust-
So at the top, though, I would have the previous, rewind, stop, all this stuff. Let's see if we can get through the ad. I can show you at least what that is.
Skipped. Add info. Add middle dot. Customizing. Added selected. Skip ad button.
Yep, that was an ad.
Okay, let's stop here.
Skip trial button.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'm actually logged in here. I don't know why it has a trial. So I have a collapse video.
Yeah, I
This
don't
is the
think you
video
are.
player.
Add to button.
Add to,
Share button.
share,
Cast button.
cost, or cast.
Cost.
What is it? Is it like how much it cost?
No, the cast.
Oh.
Casting of stuff too.
Or it cast it to your
Broadcast.
TV? Yeah.
Show cards.
Show cards,
More actions button.
more actions,
Previous video.
previous,
Rewind 10 seconds.
rewind,
Play button.
play,
Forward 10 seconds.
forward,
Next video.
next
button.
video,
1 second elapsed of 13
and then the
minutes.
timer
Button.
that I can choose.
Screen.
Full
Button. Track
screen.
position. 1 sec. Customizing my shoes. Expand
I
description.
love it.
This video along
Like,
with this
dislike,
video. Share.
share,
Button. Download. Button.
save the
Horizon.
playlist.
Button.
Okay. Now let's pull up on the Android YouTube
Yeah,
app.
do you want me to do that, or you?
Yeah, you can
got
do
it there?
that. Pull up the YouTube
so
app,
I've-
and you're going to see that they're both
Kind of
very
the
much
same.
the same.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same. So from the top we have
YouTube Premium. Cast. Distant video button.
We got
Cast.
cost.
Selected. Video button. Search button. Account. All selected. David Packman. Smartphones.
So we got a list there down the bottom of the app.
You need to find the customizing
Next to ignore.
shoes,
Then
or
dash home,
customizing your
subscriptions, new
shoe.
content is available button.
So let's just let the listeners.
Subscriptions, new content is available button. Explore button. Home button selected. Explore button. Subscriptions, new notifications. Over 9 new library button. YouTube
So
Premium.
the
It's
same
essentially
5
the same
tabs.
5 tabs, no different. We'll just pick a video. Let's go with, I don't know.
057 Katie Hopkins on lockdown bankrupts written. No estate
That'll
tax
do
show
something
Katie
about
Hopkins on lockdown
bankrupt.
bankrupts written. No estate
Excellent.
playing video 1 of 1.
Lockdown in Sweden?
Close button. Katie Hopkins official. Subscribe to Katie Hopkins official. Katie Hopkins on lockdown. Like button. 8 tap dislike button. View 2094 comment. Share. Menu. Previous story button. Pause video button. Next story button. Pause video button.
We'll pause it for now.
Next story button. Katie Hopkins official. Playing store. Playing video 1. Close button. Q form.
Interesting. Looks like a news thing.
Yeah.
It's a news thing. But essentially, it's a little different, but the layout's the same. You've got your previous, pause, next, like.
Yep, and those are all at the top. And there's a
And
minimize
everything's at the
video,
top.
all that stuff. Similar to iOS. Very, very much similar comparison of both apps. Both accessible, both work well. The one thing that you might have some difficulty with on Android is if you can't hear your screen reader because your video is too loud, you're going to want to turn the volume down. And now this is the tip of the week, is let's see here. The tip of the week. The tip of the week is we're going to talk a little bit about the volume controls in both platforms, because the one struggle that you might have as an Android user is turning down the volume or listening to your screen reader while you're watching a video. And the differences in volume are actually beneficial to Android. Now, it would be nice if we had the double tap, magic tap, or whatever that is for some users. And guess what? We are getting that in Android 11. But the one good thing about Android and volume is that you can actually control very specifically the volume of everything that happens on your system. And what I mean by that is you can have your talkback volume way above anything else or way below anything else, and you can have anything else at whatever volume you want it at.
Turn that baby on, you know?
And so the way that you would do that is if your talkback is speaking, you would, while you're speaking or while it's doing anything, you can hit the volume up, or you can just touch the screen with a finger and
That's
hold
probably
it
the easier
there.
way.
While your finger is on the screen, turn your volume up, and that will adjust the volume of TalkBack. If you take your finger off the screen and something else is playing, such as music, as long as TalkBack isn't in the middle of babbling, you can hit the volume up keys and or volume down and adjust the volume on that individual, whatever is playing. You can also adjust the different volume streams within settings as well. Under sound, in Android, you can adjust the different volume settings. Now, in iOS, volumes aren't actually as good, and the reason is that you cannot really raise the volume of, let's say, VoiceOver above whatever is playing. Now, you do have audio ducking, and we do have that on Android as well.
Not a
I
fan.
actually think the
Not a
iOS
fan.
one probably works a little better, but I'm not a fan of audio ducking on any platform.
I don't do
But-
those either.
But if you want to turn up the volume of VoiceOver above anything else, you really can't. So you have limited control over volume controls, over what volumes are what. You can change your ringtone volume. You can change your
Notifications
media
volume.
something like that. But that's
Hello?
it's pretty limited.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, I am here. Sorry, my internet keeps cutting out. I do apologize. Go on now. Sorry.
Okay.
You're in here, Marco. We hear you.
Yeah, no, I keep cutting in and out. But what I was going to say, Nima, that was the first thing I noticed as a new Android user was the ease that you can do the talkback adjustment of volume. It's damn cool. That is a very good tip. Because you can
Yeah.
do it on an iPhone as well, I believe, these days. I think it's something you can do, but it's a lot more trickier, isn't it? Now, I'm not an iPhone user anymore, so maybe somebody can comment on that in the comments, or you might know, Nima. But I don't think it's that easy
Maybe
to do.
in version 14.
What to do? What now? I'm sorry.
To control the volume of voiceover versus the volume
sure.
of...
Well, you
Music,
can do
yeah.
is you can add VoiceOver volume to the rotor, and you can change volume that way using
That's what I was trying to think
lovely
of.
rotor.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can also go into settings, and in settings you can choose what hitting volume up buttons and down buttons, what that will adjust. But you really only have one option, and that is to adjust.
But you
I
still
think
have to
media
play around
volume
with
or
the rotor
ringtone
to get
volume.
there and muck
Yeah.
around. And by the time
And
you
as
get
I
there,
said, you
it's-
still can't raise it above any of the media, so it's kind
No.
of they're not as separated as I would like.
No, I think, frankly, Android has it down here when it comes to volumes of the different,
Yeah.
types of stuff you hear. It was a nice. I mean, it never used to be like that. When did we start having the separation of the volumes? Was that in Oreo or was it in
It was a
Nougat?
while ago, though, for sure.
think
that
Yeah,
was quite a
I
while
want to
back
say
from what I
maybe it
remember.
was in Oreo though.
Could
When
have
we
been a Nougat
when we had
even.
the
Yeah, it was a
accessibility
while ago, for
volume.
sure.
Yeah, Oreo started with the accessibility volume getting
Even
separated.
before the accessibility volume, though.
No,
I mean,
yeah,
you
we
could have
did-
just
we did
talked
have
back
others.
volume, although
Yes.
it wasn't quite the same. But
No.
yeah,
So
Let's
that's a good
see.
thing. And
Let's read
hang on, Nima, while we're on, I just want to make a real quick comment that now on YouTube, you could type your comments as long as you want, and you'll find the post or the send button.
Yes, that is a
that was-
good thing.
I'm happy.
That was
That's something
YouTube
good to mention.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
let's see. Riva says, "I hate iOS settings with a passion." Yes, I agree, Riva. Dana Mosen, seems like you're using an old iPhone. LOL. No, actually, this is an iPhone SE2. Sometimes iOS is kind of quirky that way. I mean, sometimes Android does quirky things, so I can't say it's just iOS. And it's just kind of, it always tends to happen when you're doing a demo for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't typically have issues getting into settings in iOS, but for some
Well, I
reason
was going to
it wouldn't
say,
open.
very
I think
unusual
maybe it
for
was-
that to close
it
down.
seems like it was
that.
closing out on you or something.
It was, yeah. It wouldn't let me
Yeah,
open
it
it.
was
So it
closing
just,
out.
that's what happens, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, this is an iPhone SE2, not an old iPhone. And to be sure, if this is an old iPhone, then
Running the
that wouldn't
best
be good.
processor that you could find. Yeah,
Reva
so-
says, agree with iOS notifications too. I don't need the notification for every damn thing. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Reva?
The other thing that annoys me, and I know that they've changed it now, but used to annoy me when I was on the platform up until last year, was that everything gets announced or used to get announced on iOS. Like you'd have a notification if you were recording a WhatsApp message, for example, it would
Yes.
start babbling. Oh my lord, that used to do my head in. But I think they've fixed that problem now. I don't think that's an issue anymore. But yes, notification announcements used to drive me
Dana
nuts.
says, what iOS version are you using? In iOS 13, notifications are regrouped. I'm using the latest iOS. I know that you can change the notifications, but they're not actually grouped in the way that you think they're grouped.
Until you see what it is like on Android.
Until it's like on Android, it's not grouped. They're kind of, you can either have them by day, or you can sort of have them by app, but each notification is still one below the other. They're not collapsed in any way, and it's not the same type of grouping that I'm talking about. So it's,
So the grouping that we're talking about, is that Dana that asked that? Sorry, I missed the
Yes,
name
yeah.
there. So the grouping we're talking about on Android is essentially you've got one app, it might have 17 notifications. You can then expand that and see each notification as
and
you go
just
through that
interact
app.
with just the one if you
interact
don't want
with
to
that
bother with the other ones.
Yeah.
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 So it's a different categorization, the way that it's displayed.
Riva is mad at Google for forcing us to YouTube Music. I like the layout of Google Play Music. Yeah, honestly, I don't find a huge difference, and I don't mind YouTube Music personally, but I can understand that if you're used to the Play Music, then that would be an issue.
Yeah, I think either way, I think both apps are kind of similar anyway, really. I mean, if they had to pick one
Yeah.
or the other, I guess so.
I was on Play Music as well, and
Yeah.
I could say the layout was a little disconcerting at first, but it is. I'm not having any issues with the layout, so it's just a difference.
Yeah.
Marion Mosen is wondering why there are two share buttons. I'm not sure that there are two share buttons. Where are there two share buttons exactly?
Yeah.
iOS
elaborate,
has
I'm
a
not
share
sure.
button and Android has a share button, but I don't know that there are two shared buttons. I'm not. Maybe you can clarify that. We'll try to answer that before the cast ends. Thomas Chan says, darn, I'm late for the party. That's good, because that means you will download our podcast on when it goes live, and we'll have one
Yeah,
more
baby.
listener. So thank you very much. Although once this YouTube video stops, once we stop streaming, you can always go back and listen from the very beginning as well. Dana says, also think you need to update the YouTube app on the iPhone. LOL. Why are you saying that? I have the latest YouTube app on the iPhone, and I'm not sure why you're saying I need to
Well,
download
actually,
the.
I don't think there was any problem with the YouTube app on
No,
that
it
food
was
bill.
working
It
fine,
was
and it's
YouTube
very
app
beautiful.
worked
similar to
fine.
what Android
Yeah.
was. So I'm not sure why I would need to
It's
update it. It is
beautiful.
updated. All my apps are updated. I always do that. I always check that. So yeah, it seems to be working fine.
Hmm.
Harshid, I can't say your last name, Trivedi or something, says, nice work, thank you.
Shout out to
Marion
you, bro.
Mosen on YouTube. Yeah, I didn't see two share buttons on YouTube. I'm not sure where that is, but certainly
No, I
On,
can't
terms
say
of
I've seen
on
two
accessibility,
share
Android, no,
buttons.
there's just one.
Yeah, on
open
Android there's
YouTube.
definitely one.
yeah, on Android there's one, and on
Yeah.
iOS there's one. So
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure where there would be two.
So no,
Yeah.
there's just one.
Anyway, we don't.
See, there's
there's definitely only
See,
one.
there's just one. That one share.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. There's just one
Okay,
share
well,
button.
Marco, is there anything else we need to compare before we do listener emails? Or something
Well,
else I'm missing?
we will probably continue the whole compare thing next week. But I think
Let's
out of
jump
that,
to
the
emails.
only other thing I was going to mention before we quickly jump into emails is that I think next week what we'll do is we'll do a little bit more comparison between the streaming services, the music services, and maybe Nimmer will do a comparison because I know a lot of listeners are into this, the chat services, and see what they're like on the different platforms. So we might compare WhatsApp, Telegram.
Sure.
We might go through
Good idea,
Messenger,
Marco. do that.
Yes.
stuff
And
like
I think
that. And we'll do
moving
the chat
forward
apps.
too, instead of, we could keep doing these comparisons, and I think what we'll do is anytime that we mention an app review, we will try to find the iOS equivalent. Now, I did not do that today because the app of changing tracks with volume doesn't seem to be supported on any app that I'm aware of on iOS, and
I
it seems to be
don't
an
believe
iOS
so.
limitation. So if you think I'm wrong, please definitely point that out to us because I'm pretty sure that is a limitation of iOS and you just can't do it.
And if we are wrong, we will update the show notes, to reflect that as well, and we'll also make sure that it's all updated in the relevant sections. So if we are incorrect, but I don't believe there is one either, but we could be wrong, and we're happy to update accordingly.
Harshid says there is in fact two share buttons on Android. One for share is near the cast button, and one share button sometimes appears next to the dislike in between download.
Oh, okay, yeah, that might be.
I don't
know
remember
if
that.
I've
I
seen the
don't
one next
seen
to the
that.
cast button. I've seen the
I've
one
never
down
seen
below.
that one next to the
That's a
cast
YouTube.
button.
No, I don't know that one.
Let me take a look. So here, I got.
Maybe play a video.
So this,
Yeah, play a video. Start playing a video though.
well, maybe I don't want to play this. Or maybe something different. It could piss some people
Oh,
off.
we're
you
just
need
gonna
to get
pause it
ad
right
free.
away.
You need to
Doesn't
get ad
matter.
free YouTube. He can go out and buy a $100
stop
keyboard,
that.
but he can't buy ad free YouTube. Eesh.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh well,
So,
I don't want to, do about something that some people are going to be.
Well, we're going to
offended.
pause it anyway, so just start
yeah,
playing
just-
it and pause
Just
it.
start playing and pause it.
Okay. So
Okay, all you're getting is a gun
now
noise. Now
I'm going to
pause it.
skip that ad.
Well, no, you're not. It's going to skip
Okay.
it for you.
So here we got.
Rewind 10 seconds. Button. Pause video. Button. Fast forward 10 seconds. Button. Next video.
Well, why don't you pause it?
Fast forward. Video player. Double tap to show controls. Video player.
So I'm gonna pause it
Pause
then.
video. Button.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
That'd
Okay.
be good.
So here,
Video player. Double tap to show controls. Zero shot by Damien Giselle vertical cinema. 30 minutes.
So now touch the top left.
yeah, the top left you got the
Add to button.
add to
Share button.
the share,
More options. Button.
and then down below I don't see anything here. Let me scroll up. I don't see
There is
anything.
there is actually 2 share buttons, isn't
There
there?
is 2 share buttons. Yeah,
That's
there is. I've
interesting.
yeah.
Well, they will both share your video, and you should use which one is convenient. And the thing is that I will tell you, we appreciate it
Oh
when you
yeah,
share the video.
there's a share, in the next to the
Yep.
line.
And if you
there.
share our video, the more people listening to this, the better, more people get the message. We also get more views. So please share it. And if there are 2 share buttons, maybe you can share it with 2 places. So,
Share it twice.
share
There
it
you
twice.
go.
No, here's my take on this thing though. I think why we have that share on the top is because the accessibility controls are shown. If you hide those, you're probably not going to get that. That's just my theory. Because
Well, I don't know what accessibility controls we're talking about.
no, in YouTube, those things that are, like the pause, whatever, those are from the accessibility. You can go into the settings and turn those off, or, say, hey, show this only for like 3 seconds or 5 seconds. You can customize those. So
Well,
I'm
it just gives
thinking,
you a full view of the video. It's not
the video,
it's
yeah.
not an accessibility thing, I don't think. But
no, guys, listen to me. Yes, there's an accessibility in there where you can set it to how long those controls should last on the screen. If you don't, they're perpetually there. And I'm thinking that share is part of that. That top share is part of that control of, the.
well, I would
controls
disagree
itself.
and say it has nothing to do with accessibility. But let's argue about this one later. And if anybody wants to disagree with us or agree with us, definitely let us know.
Well, I didn't even know there was a share button in the top there. So there you go. I've learned something.
Yeah, well, I
new
guess
today.
I've seen
I
it
had no
there.
idea.
I just, I never.
No, I never
don't
thought
know.
about it.
I don't pay attention to that stuff up there. So, let's see. Stan Bobbitt. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Might be overkill, but I keep track of all the apps, all app updates, just in case I run into a problem down the road. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Marion Mosen, oh sorry, LOL. Not sure what that means or referring to. Dana says, I agree with the Apple settings issue, too cluttered. Excellent. Okay, now we're going to do some listener emails. And before we do that, I definitely want to thank everybody who's listened so far. We've got 10 listeners.
This has been by far the most commented podcast, and it's been a lot of fun.
Definitely
hasn't it, boys?
has. Thank you so much for listening. And please like, share, subscribe. Go to anatadpodcast.com where the actual podcast will be at. And now we'll go through some listener emails. And,
Who have we got emails from this week, Nimmer? My favorite segment, as I say, each and every week.
I've got Michael Ryan.
Oh.
Orion. Google Lookout comes to Canada, and he shared an article with us on that. Yep, thanks for sharing that. Definitely is great that Google Lookout comes to Canada.
Now, this is very strange that we should talk about this, because I know during the week, Nimmer, we were talking about Google Lookout. I couldn't find it here. But then when you sent me the link, it popped up. So it was very strange. So it definitely does exist, I think, worldwide, but it might be a bit hard to find in some places.
He does have some questions on Lookout that we probably have addressed, and if we haven't, I'll just try to go through them real quick. I'm not familiar with the app, except for what I read. Is there a cost for the app? No, there's not a cost for the app, completely free. In reading an article with the Google Assistant, how do you execute a continuous read? For the moment, I'm swiping after each stoppage. Now, when I read an article with the Google Assistant, it doesn't stop. It just continues on reading until you get down to the bottom of the article. Now, if you'd like to know how to do a continuous read on Android, I believe we covered that in last week's podcast, but what you can do is you can pull up the global context menu of TalkBack, swipe down and right, and then you can go to read from next. You can also assign a gesture to it so you don't have to go into that menu, and you can do that. I would touch from wherever you want to start reading. Otherwise, you could just start doing from the top and use the feature called read from top, strangely enough. But you don't need to do that when reading with Google Assistant. As I've said, with Google Assistant, it will automatically.
Well, it should just read it.
It'll just read through the end of the page. I think maybe you were referring to Voice Assistant. I'm not sure, but maybe you can clarify that.
I was going to
What is
say,
the
if you were
opening
referring... sorry, Nemo, if you were referring to voice assistant, I think it's a fairly similar process. But also, if you were referring to commentary, it's swipe right up
Yeah.
is continuous read. But yeah, maybe clarify that in an email if you can, and we'll get more into it next show.
What is the opening of the podcast? And that's the last question from Mike.
It's a song called "Why I Am."
Why I am. Okay. All right.
And why
don't
am
know
I, Nimmer? Why am I?
I've always wondered that.
Why am I?
David Miller, he sends us an email. Hello, guys. I believe it was episode 43 where LastPass was mentioned, and I think it was Marco said he had his configured to store passwords not in the cloud. This is what I'm trying to achieve. Since I'm
yes,
setting
now-
up my new S10, this seems like a great time
Marco,
to get this
do that as
feature.
a tip of the week.
Go
Can
ahead.
I
next
just,
week.
Can you
before you go on,
elaborate?
Nimmer? Yeah, is that the entire email?
That is the entire email.
Yeah, what was the gentleman's name, sorry?
David
Dave.
Miller.
David, I have to apologise to you, my friend. I did see your email come through. Now, I don't know if you sent it to the Anatad list or whether you said it privately. I can't remember. I do think I still got it, and I will reply to you in person at some point. It has got lost in the clutter. So my sincerest apologies that I haven't got back to you in the last few weeks. Having said that, Nimmer, you can probably help out with this. You can certainly do that with LastPass.
Yeah, so you would do it when you set up your LastPass account. And when
Yeah,
you're
you've got to
setting
do it when
that
you
up,
set it up. Yeah.
it will ask you, do you want to have your password stored in LastPass? And there's some options there. You can choose not to have it in LastPass, and it involves that syncing feature. And you can also just use, you can have it linked to, I believe, Google Dropbox and Google Drive.
I think they're both covered, yeah.
It
From
could
now.
just be Dropbox. I don't remember with LastPass. They're all a little different. We've actually switched to using one called Bitwarden,
Yeah, that's
and
what I
maybe
was
we'll
gonna
do a
say.
demo on that one. But Bitwarden is also a pretty decent one. It's open source, although I still say LastPass is pretty good. But they have sort of gone a little bit down the slide in terms of accessibility. So I
Yeah.
probably recommend them less than I used to. I recommend 1Password or would, except that in Linux, you cannot export stuff out. You can in Windows and Mac, although they are adding a Linux client, and hopefully that is accessible. But
I have to
so
say though,
far,
for a password manager that is essentially free, although I have actually paid for the upgrade, and I'm pretty sure you have as well, Nimmer.
yes,
With Bitwarden, they actually do a very good job. I'm very impressed with their.
they do,
Fine,
and
I
they're
was
very
a last-
engaged in accessibility as
They
well.
are.
So
Yeah, I've written to them a couple of times and got responses straight away. They've managed to sort out a couple of issues that I had using Bitwarden with the Brave browser, which was excellent. But yes, David, I am like Nimmer. I did recommend LastPass, but I literally switched probably around the time that you sent me that email, funnily enough. So I don't really recommend them as much as I used to now. I would suggest, as Nimmer said, try Bitwarden, and that's spelled Bitwarden, I believe.
yeah,
Yeah.
Or LastPassword, but the only thing about 1Password. But the only thing about 1Password is it is a little exy, but it is very feature rich. Sheesh, hello, too many wines, I think. Feature rich, and it is very accessible. It's a good manager. Nothing wrong with it at all.
we've got a couple
you-
of emails here from Afia.
Afia.
Fia, something like that, or Fia,
Ophelia.
Fia, Sono Kids. We have one, says, Dear Marco, I've been following Anatad via the VIP list and just wanted to get in touch with you.
That's the
Sono
VIP
Kids-
list for those that don't know. Might as well give them a shout out. VIP-L is an Australian list where anything pretty much gets discussed. It's not just tech, it's all sorts of things that get talked about. It's a mailing list. So welcome to you, Afia.
So this says Sono Kids have been around for more than 20 years now, developing educational software and game apps for children who are blind or vision impaired. This suite is called Baliland, okay? And the main focus is teaching of digital skills, which includes the basics of coding and accessibility skills. We've always been developing for the iPad, so iOS platform. During COVID-19, we have offered all our apps for free for a few months, and then we received many requests from people, particularly overseas, for the apps to be made available for Android. We never realized how popular Android has been. Going today, we have published our first app for Android, the free Baliland Cosmo Bali. All right, in space, and then they provide a link. We plan to slowly but surely make all our Baliland apps available for download, perhaps in the future. Anatad and Sono Kids can support each other with mutual production. We have a newsletter with many followers, and maybe you would be interested in an interview for your podcast at some point. And it goes on. I definitely would be interested in that. I think we would be very interested in that. And that goes for anybody listening. If you have something to contribute or add to the show, or if you have a podcast that sort of relates that we can promote, in exchange for you helping us out, of course, we're welcome. Now he does send out another email, so I'm not going to really do anything with the Baliland. So he does send a follow-up email that says, "Dear Marco, unfortunately, testers have now reported they are experiencing a technical problem with the talkback on the start page of our new app. Perhaps I was a bit too enthusiastic in contacting you when the app wasn't even launched. And I hope that you don't mind. The app works fine, self-voicing, but we are working on resolving the problem with talkback. Thank you so much for your understanding. Looking forward to being in touch."
Well, I think
there's a
down the
lot
track,
of issues
definitely,
with games where games, and it's just about what developers are able to pass on through talkback. And this gets easier in Android 11 with the new APIs, by the way. But in Android 10 or earlier, this is a huge challenge for many, many games and such with talkback, that you can't really pass the gestures onto a game when using talkback. Now, it depends on what this kind of app is or does. I haven't really installed it. I will. But I don't know that self-voicing is all that bad. I would like it to work with talkback, but this is probably the best solution at this point, and it's just a matter of typing some text for users to let them know, hey, this app is a self-voicing. You don't need talkback to run this app, in which case users can turn it off.
Yeah.
But definitely we're interested in, we will take a look at the app, and if you'd like to come on and speak about it some more, anything that promotes accessibility on Android or accessible games or work stuff for kids, I'm definitely passionate about that, and I think we all feel the same about that.
I think we make it a priority this week, boys, to maybe install the app, have a bit of a play around, and Afia, we will definitely get in touch.
I'll install it. It has talked about it. Talks about the stars and things like that, so it's really cool.
So we'll install it, and then next week we'll link to it and provide more feedback. And
we will be in touch during the week, and obviously, definitely. I mean, obviously, if all goes well, we would love to have a chat down the track. 100%.
Yeah.
So.
We've got an email from Austin Pinto. Hi all. I have ordered the OnePlus Nord, 5G, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gig ROM. I will get the phone between 28 August and 2nd of September. I will record the unboxing. Thank you very much. Definitely looking forward to that.
Looking forward to it, Austin.
And if you do record the unboxing, Austin, pop a link up to, or send us the link to the Anatad at, what's the email address again, Nima? Anatad Podcast at gmail.com?
Anatad Podcast at gmail.com. That is right.
Pop the link through Austin, my man, and we will definitely put it in the podcast and the live feed.
Now, let's see real quick. Am I missing any email? Any chats? I think so. Let's see here. How do you get Google Assistant to read a page from Stan Bobbitt? Oh, man, someone needs to go back and listen to our podcast. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What
episode was that on
all
again?
All you have to do, Stan, is just
last
say,
week.
Read this page. Activate your, if you just hold down your home key, or just use the first and just tell it to read this page. In other words, you're on the page that you want the assistant to read for you, and then you either hold down your home key or just ask the assistant, invoke the assistant and say, read this page. It'll do it for you.
Yep.
Yep.
It doesn't work quite on all pages, but it does work on a lot of pages.
Yeah, that's true.
Dana would love to join the Anatad group. Please, excellent. Keep listening, and we'll tell you how. So let's get to that right now. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please share it. You can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, at Anatad Podcast. And you can, if you'd like to join the Anatad group email list, Anatad, ANATAD, plus subscribe at googlegroups.com. You can join that. Now, it is kind of a high traffic list, and all kinds of topics unrelated to Android and sometimes very divisive topics are discussed. So you might want to get to know your email filters when you subscribe. But it is a pretty decent list nonetheless. So, you can subscribe, Anatad Podcast.
It's busy. Let's put it that way. It's busy.
Anatad plus subscribe at googlegroups.com. If you'd like to email us with any questions for us to read on the air or just any questions that you have, anatadpodcast at gmail.com. And I think, again, happy Independence Day for everybody in India.
And of course, Neiman, don't forget that we can be liked on Facebook. Search for Anatad. And of course, follow us on Twitter.
Yes,
at
Twitter.
Anatad Podcast, I think it is on Twitter.
It is, yes. Anatad Podcast. It is on Twitter. And if anybody doesn't know what Twitter is, that is the Australian version of Twitter.
Hey, I can't help that you've got an accent, man.
All right, guys.
And of course, Anatad is ANTAD, So.
No, it's actually
A-N-A-T-A-D.
I'm glad that you know what it is. Happy day.
ANATAD.
And that's our website. You can go to anatadpodcast.com for all the archives. Anatad stands for Android News Apps Talk and Deals. So it is an acronym. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Let's just make sure. Stan Boppet. Sorry, didn't know we moved to Saturday last week. I'll find it and have a listen. Actually, today is our first Saturday, Stan.
Yeah.
But thank you
Have
guys.
a look at the anatad.com, Stan. Download episode 46 was last week, and it'll be right there in the middle.
As well. If you
And
subscribe, you'll get all
won't
the
miss it.
episodes. So.
Yep.
And you can do it. There's links to all your favorite podcatchers, Google Podcasts,
Just
Spotify,
go to your favorite podcatcher, look up
YouTunes.
Anatad, and you'll find it. It's very easy.
Yeah.
The
straight up for
addict, a lot of people
Yeah.
like the addict,
Yeah.
whatever that thing is.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and we will see you all next week. And I'm hoping it'll be a lot cooler then.
Bye, guys.
Bon voyage, bambinas.